Verses 121 through 131 of In Memoriam, A.H.H. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Elizabeth Klett. In Memoriam, A.H.H. by Alfred, Lord Tennyson. Verses 121 through 131. 121. Sad Hesper o'er the buried sun, and ready thou to die with him, thou watchest all things ever dim, and dimmer, and to glory done. The team is loosened from the wain, the boat is drawn upon the shore, thou listenest to the closing door, and life is darkened in the brain. Bright phosphor, fresher for the night, by thee the world's great work is heard beginning, and the wakeful bird. Behind thee comes the greater light. The market boat is on the stream, and voices hail it from the brink. Thou hearest the village hammer clink, and seest the moving of the team. Sweet Hesper phosphor, double name for what is one, the first, the last, thou, like my present and my past, thy place is changed, thou art the same. 122. O wast thou with me, dearest, then, while I rose up against my doom, and yearned to burst the folded gloom, to bear the eternal heavens again, to feel once more, in placid awe, the strong imagination roll a sphere of stars about my soul, in all her motion one with law. If thou wert with me, and the grave divide us not, be with me now, and enter in at breast and brow, till all my blood, a fuller wave, be quickened with a livelier breath, and like an inconsiderate boy, as in the former flash of joy, I slip the thoughts of life and death. And all the breeze of fancy blows, and every dewdrop paints a bow, the wizard lightnings deeply glow, and every thought breaks out a rose. 123. There rolls the deep where grew the tree. O earth, what changes hast thou seen! There where the long street roars, hath been the stillness of the central sea. The hills are shadows, and they flow from form to form, and nothing stands. They melt like mist, the solid lands, like clouds they shape themselves and go. But in my spirit will I dwell, and dream my dream, and hold it true, for though my lips may breathe adieu, I cannot think the thing farewell. 124. That which we dare invoke to bless, our dearest faith, our ghastliest doubt, he, they, one, all, within, without, the power in darkness whom we guess. I found him not in world or sun, or eagle's wing, or insect's eye, nor through the questions men may try, the petty cobwebs we have spun. If e'er when faith had fallen asleep, I heard a voice, believe no more, and heard an ever-breaking shore that tumbled in the godless deep, a warmth within the breast would melt the freezing reason's colder part, and like a man in wrath the heart stood up and answered, I have felt. No, like a child in doubt and fear, but that blind clamour made me wise. Then was I as a child that cries, but crying knows his father near. And what I am beheld again, what is, and no man understands, and out of darkness came the hands that reach through nature, moulding men. 125. Whatever I have said or sung, some bitter notes my harp would give, yea, though there often seemed to live a contradiction of the tongue, yet hope had never lost her youth. She did but look through dimmer eyes, or love but played with gracious lies, because he felt so fixed in truth. And if the song were full of care, he breathed the spirit of the song. And if the words were sweet and strong, he set his royal signet there, abiding with me till I sail to seek thee on the mystic deeps, and this electric force that keeps 1,000 pulses dancing fail. 126. Love is and was my Lord and King, and in his presence I attend to hear the tidings of my friend, which every hour his couriers bring. Love is and was my King and Lord, and will be, though as yet I keep within his court on earth, and sleep encompassed by his faithful guard, and hear at times a sentinel who moves about from place to place, and whispers to the worlds of space in the deep night that all is well. 127. And all is well, though faith and form be sundered in the night of fear. Well roars the storm to those that hear a deeper voice across the storm, proclaiming social truth shall spread, and justice, even though thrice again the red fool fury of the sane should pile her barricades with dead. But ill for him that wears a crown, and him, the lazar, in his rags. They tremble, the sustaining crags, the spires of ice are toppled down, and molten up, and roar in flood. The fortress crashes from on high, the brute earth lightens to the sky, and the great aeon sinks in blood, and compassed by the fires of hell. While thou, dear spirit, happy star, o'erlook'st the tumult from afar, and smilest, knowing all is well. 128. The love that rose on stronger wings, unpalsied when he met with death, is comrade of the lesser faith that sees the course of human things. No doubt vast eddies in the flood of onward time shall yet be made, and throned races may degrade. Yet O ye mysteries of good, wild hours that fly with hope and fear, if all your office had to do with old results that look like new, if this were all your mission here, to draw, to sheathe a useless sword, to fool the crowd with glorious lies, to cleave a creed in sects and cries, to change the bearing of a word, to shift an arbitrary power, to cramp the student at his desk, to make old bareness picturesque, and tuft with grass a feudal tower, why then, my scorn might well descend on you and yours. I see in part that all, as in some piece of art, is toil cooperant to an end. 129. Dear friend, far off, my lost desire, so far, so near in woe and weal, O loved the most, when most I feel there is a lower and a higher, known and unknown, human, divine, sweet human hand and lips and eye, dear heavenly friend that canst not die, mine, mine for ever, ever mine. Strange friend, past, present, and to be, loved deeplier, darklier understood, behold, I dream a dream of good, and mingle all the world with thee. 130. Thy voice is on the rolling air, I hear thee where the waters run. Thou standest in the rising sun, and in the setting thou art fair. What art thou then? I cannot guess, but though I seem in star and flower to feel thee some diffusive power, I do not therefore love thee less. My love involves the love before, my love is vaster passion now, though mixed with God and nature thou, I seem to love thee more and more. Far off thou art, but ever nigh, I have thee still, and I rejoice, I prosper, circled with thy voice, I shall not lose thee, though I die. 131. O living will that shalt endure when all that seems shall suffer shock, rise in the spiritual rock, flow through our deeds and make them pure, that we may lift from out of dust a voice as unto him that hears, a cry above the conquered years to one that with us works, and trust, with faith that comes of self-control, the truths that never can be proved, until we close with all we loved, and all we flow from, soul in soul. O tried and true, so well and long, demand not thou a marriage lay, in that it is thy marriage day is music more than any song. Nor have I felt so much of bliss since first he told me that he loved a daughter of our house, nor proved since that dark day a day like this. Though I since then have numbered o'er some thrice 3 years, they went and came, remade the blood and changed the frame, and yet is love not less, but more. No longer caring to embalm in dying songs a dead regret, but like a statue solid set, and moulded in colossal calm. Regret is dead, but love is more than in the summers that are flown, for I myself with these have grown to something greater than before, which makes appear the songs I made as echoes out of weaker times, as half but idle brawling rhymes, the sport of random sun and shade. But where is she, the bridal flower, that must be made a wife ere noon? She enters, glowing like the moon of Eden on its bridal bower. On me she bends her blissful eyes, and then on thee. They meet thy look and brighten like the star that shook betwixt the palms of paradise. O when her life was yet in bud, he too foretold the perfect rose. For thee she grew, for thee she grows for ever, and as fair as good. And thou art worthy, full of power, as gentle, liberal-minded, great, consistent, wearing all that weight of learning lightly like a flower. But now set out. The noon is near, and I must give away the bride. She fears not, or with thee beside and me behind her, will not fear. For I that danced her on my knee, that watched her on her nurse's arm, that shielded all her life from harm, at last must part with her to thee. Now waiting to be made a wife, her feet, my darling, on the dead, their pensive tablets round her head, and the most living words of life breathed in her ear. The ring is on, the "Wilt thou?" answered, and again the "Wilt thou?" asked, till out of twain her sweet "I will" has made you one. Now sign your names, which shall be read, mute symbols of a joyful morn. By village eyes as yet unborn the names are signed, and overhead begins the clash and clang that tells the joy to every wandering breeze. The blind wall rocks, and on the trees the dead leaf trembles to the bells. O happy hour, and happier hours await them. Many a merry face salutes them, maidens of the place, that pelt us in the porch with flowers. O happy hour! Behold the bride with him to whom her hand I gave. They leave the porch, they pass the grave that has today its sunny side. Today the grave is bright for me, for them the light of life increased, who stay to share the morning feast, who rest tonight beside the sea. Let all my genial spirits advance to meet and greet a whiter sun. My drooping memory will not shun the foaming grape of eastern France. It circles round, and fancy plays, and hearts are warmed and faces bloom, as drinking health to bride and groom we wish them store of happy days. Nor count me all to blame if I conjecture of a stiller guest. Perchance among the rest, and though in silence, wishing joy. But they must go, the time draws on, and those white-favoured horses wait. They rise, but linger. It is late. Farewell, we kiss, and they are gone. A shade falls on us like the dark from little cloudlets on the grass, but sweeps away as out we pass to range the woods, to roam the park, discussing how their courtship grew, and talk of others that are wed, and how she looked, and what he said, and back we come at fall of dew. Again the feast, the speech, the glee, the shade of passing thought, the wealth of words and wit, the double health, the crowning cup, the 3 times 3, and last the dance, till I retire. Dumb is that tower which spake so loud, and high in heaven the streaming cloud, and on the downs a rising fire. And rise, O moon, from yonder down, till over down and over dale all night the shining vapour sail, and pass the silent lighted town. The white-faced halls, the glancing rills, and catch at every mountain head, and o'er the friths that branch and spread their sleeping silver through the hills. And touch with shade the bridal doors, with tender gloom the roof, the wall, and breaking let the splendour fall to spangle all the happy shores by which they rest, and ocean sounds, and star and system rolling past, a soul shall draw from out the vast and strike his being into bounds, and moved through life of lower phase, result in man, be born and think, and act and love, a closer link betwixt us and the crowning race of those that, eye to eye, shall look on knowledge, under whose command is earth and earths, and in their hand is nature like an open book, no longer half akin to brute, for all we thought and loved and did, and hoped and suffered, is but seed of what in them is flower and fruit. Whereof the man that with me trod this planet was a noble type appearing ere the times were ripe, that friend of mine who lives in God, that God which ever lives and loves, one God, one law, one element, and one far off divine event, to which the whole creation moves. End of In Memoriam, A.H.H. by Alfred, Lord Tennyson.